Hakijamii was formally formed in the year 2004, and it was a continuation of the work that we had been doing when we were working at Kituo cha Sheria. By we, I mean that is myself and Elijah, who was a community officer at Kituo cha Sheria. So during our work at Kituo cha Sheria, one of the things that we appreciated was Kituo's work with the communities, but we realized that there was a bit of a slight gap in the sense that there was too much demand for immediate legal services which did not provide for enough time for the organization to be able to work or engage with the communities on a long-term basis. I think that my interest in human rights work kind of grew very gradually and organically, and was probably much more reinforced by participating in other activities during this my student days, student activism, getting involved in the students' politics, and getting much more interested in how the state and power operates. I did the bar exam, so I'm basically an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I briefly did enroll for a master's degree at the University of Nairobi also, which was also curtailed when because of some political upheavals ended up in some of us being arrested and accused of planning to overthrow the government, so we stayed a bit in prison for some time.
So you were arrested and were in jail for a while?
Well, that was not part of my education. Yes, I was there for a while, for about 3 years. It was during the one-party state, and you know, the level of democracy was very low, and a group of us were not quite satisfied with the democratic space that was there. So there was a bit of organizing in terms of trying to see if we could be able to force the government to change so that they could widen and broaden the political space and allow other political parties to be formed. And it was kind of misconceived by the then government that it was a group that was trying to overthrow the government by unlawful means. So a number of people were arrested during that time in the 1980s. That was the time that, if you read the Kenyan history, is normally referred to as the time when the dissidents were being arrested, being taken to torture chambers, and being forced to confess to trumped up charges, and then being jailed. We don't see ourselves as people who have come in as rescuers, but we see ourselves as people who are collaborators with people who are already struggling for their own rights in their own ways. But there are areas in which organizations like Hakijamii can be able to play a peculiar role, and that is in terms of adding skills to the work that they are doing, adding knowledge also to the work they are doing, and providing maybe evidence-based kind of work that can be able to be used to bring in changes. It is one thing to talk about human rights, but it's another thing to come up with the practical options of how to actually achieve those human rights. The overall goal really is just to try and work together with other like-minded organizations to have a kind of society in which there is the respect for human rights and justice is more or less internalized, kind of, both in terms of the systems that are in place and the practices, and where the citizens of the country can be able to exercise their normal democratic rights without any fear whatsoever, and being active participants in decision making on issues that are of fundamental importance to them.